back, and we back. Zeus P, Tank Jew. Let the light in, man. It's the 2-hour lunch break, dog. I'm locked in. So turn your speakers up a notch and grab the white gin. And when I'm on the road to the office or the crib, it's Big Zeus, Ain't Jew, the ones I wanna hear. This is that 2-hour lunch break live from Lady Bird J. Late. Coming to you live, putting on for they see. This is that 2-hour lunch break live from Lady Bird J. Late.
And it's coming home to Texas. It's coming home all the way to Austin, Texas, baby.
And we are back with another edition of the 2-Hour Lunch Break Podcast, a podcast from Austin, for Austin, shared with you around the world. We are here at Home Base Dawa Studios on the east side of ATX. I am Saint, one half of the 2-Hour Lunch Break Podcast. My co-host is out this evening, but he will be back on the next episode. And we got an amazing guest in the building. He is a distinguished certified public accountant and the director of partnership and finance for DreamCon. Renovated and well-renowned and renounced anime and gaming convention brought to life with social media influencers, RDC World. He is also the founder of KCK CPA, an innovator of firm specializing in financial strategies and creators of entertainment and crypto industries. He is also the president of the Los Angeles chapter of the National Association of Black Accountants and a member of the board of directors of the California Society of Certified Public Accountants. He comes with a wealth of knowledge and information. Here today, we welcome Mr. Kendale King in the building. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Every time they kind of read that off,
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, you working. He's like, I'm out here busy. Dang, yeah.
And then it was like, yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
I damn sure do that.
You are out. He said, I'm outside. I got things to do, man.
Yeah.
So let's start from the top, man. I know you're from Cleveland.
Yes.
And you have this passion for accounting. Let's start there. How did that begin? How did that birth?
So growing up in Cleveland, obviously, not too many people have the best of circumstances there. And I was of the people at the beginning to like also be even below those circumstances at one point. Right. You know, I say me, but really my mother and the family and everything like that, right? But you know, just picture single mother at a time, you know, because then she had some support. I had a stepfather kind of came in and helped her while she went to school and everything. But 5 children, so I got 4 siblings on my mother's side, and you know, it was a 1-bedroom apartment, so we all in there. And you know, while you're going through it as a kid, you know, you don't really think about it too much until you go to other places and other things.
Like, this is kind of nice.
Yeah,
you got your own room.
Yeah, exactly. Like, look, even to this day, like having like my own space and my own, I'm just like, it's just something I'm just not really that used to. We shared everything. But growing up, my mother had always had a mindset of making sure that our circumstances were better than, you know, hers. Yeah. So, you know, from a very young age, it was, you know, a focus on finance and, you know, taking care of yourself, not having kids until you can. Her quote was, "Don't create life until you have yours together." And those were words I took to the heart. I am just turned 30 and I got just had a kid this year. So it just really started with that, and it just, for me, I really took to it. You know, playing games is a big thing. So like playing Monopoly, playing Cash Flow, and other games like that is definitely things that really motivated me to you know, to get into finance, get into accounting. I didn't know about actual accounting until high school, when I actually sought after it. So yeah.
That's cool. That's super dope. So let's talk about a little bit about your career path and your experience. I know you went to the House. Shout out to Morehouse College. Yes. How was that? How did that shape your career?
I think and hold on one moment.
No, we can pause.
Here, we can pause?
Yeah, we can pause.
Okay, yeah. Because Jay calling me like 3 times. Hey. No, I didn't say that. I was saying that I was gonna do it, but then she like had the numbers. I was like, oh, okay, well, if we got the numbers, and because I know me and like we were. Yeah. Not you. Not you. Yeah. I was telling because I didn't know that we had the numbers, but then Roger sent me the numbers. I was like, oh, okay, bet. Well, if y'all got it. Okay, bet. So yeah, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
No, he can. He can do whatever he wants.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
This ain't live, so he can do whatever he wants.
Okay, bet. Because I did cuss. I was like,
yeah,
shit.
no, you good. You good. Yeah.
Just beep it. Just beep it out.
Yeah. No. That's on Tuesdays from 6 to 7. But yeah, we're on Austin. We're on live TV from that time frame.
Hey.
But yeah, during
That's
it
it.
right now, you can do whatever you want. If you want to break the fourth wall and just be like,
Hello.
yo, y'all need to know this. Do that.
Bet.
Let us. We good ever? I'm gonna plug me back in, and I'll do Morehouse. You want me to ask the question again? Or you want to
Nah, I fucked your shoes.
Man, appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
These hoes is comfortable as hell.
Yeah. That's good. But yeah, ask the question. My bad.
Okay, cool. All right. Let me know ever. Bet. So attended Morehouse College. Shout out to Morehouse University. Tell me a little bit more about how that shaped your career path.
So I didn't even know about Morehouse until I was in high school as well. But literally, and so I'll tell you the story of kind of how I got there. So not even toot my own horn or anything, but I was pretty, I was pretty smart, and pretty smart. But in the school, like I had got like the highest math OGT, which is like the Ohio graduation test. Yeah. Where you need to pass that to graduate high school. I had got like the highest score in the district in that time and stuff like that. And so I was doing a lot of stuff. Clearly, I do a lot of stuff all the time. So I was like president of my class, playing football. I was doing after school programs. So I had a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. And obviously, look good to colleges. And, with all that being said, colleges were reaching out, as they do. They send the letters. So in particular, I had Harvard and MIT. Nice. They both reached out, just like, hey, to apply. Right. Not saying like they about to, hey, come here, bring your black ass here. We can, we got you. Right. It was more in a sense of like, okay, we kind of hear that you smart, so you should apply. So, come college time, college app time, I'm doing the college applications and stuff. And my goal was to go through college without getting any debt. And then, more so not paying for it in my own money because my mother couldn't do it. She literally told me, she was like, I can't pay for college for you, so you got to figure it out. Yeah, right. And so what I did was I got scholarships. I applied for like every single scholarship I could ever even think of and find. I had books where I was just like, all right, I consider this, I could do this, I could do that. And also obviously trying to lean on getting sponsors, like a scholarship from, the actual school. So I was doing the applications. Now, when you do the apps, I'm assuming you still can do it now, but essentially you can do the Common App, which is like you can apply for the Common App and you can get into it applies you to several different schools that all take the Common App. Right. Morehouse took the Common App, so I was like, all right, bet. And before that, I didn't know about Morehouse. I had to went to a little info session. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. I was like, all dudes. I was like, I don't know about that. And then also I was in my mind like, dang, just black people. I'm like, is that representative of the real world and stuff like that? So I had all those same thoughts. I get you. But then I was doing the application. So I was doing the college app, and then Harvard, for example, had a separate one. They didn't take the Common App. Right. You gotta do really it. Apply, yeah. And they were asking like 20 different questions about abstract certain things. It was like cool questions, but I just thought about it. I'm just like, God damn, I gotta jump through all these hoops. Like y'all the one who told me to apply, and I gotta still jump through all of these hoops just to get in. Right. And it just made me. I was like, this school. Morehouse saw me, it was like, look, you good, yeah, just fill it in. We need your basic information. Fill that in. We're here. Make sure you ain't, your scores ain't a lie.
Right.
And then they sent me the acceptance letter. I think it was one of the first ones I got, actually. And they gave me scholarship, full tuition.
Man.
And so I was like, I'm here contemplating about trying to do this application to potentially get into this school that's asking me to jump through so many hoops. When this school sees me, knows my worth, ain't asking for nothing more than just like, look, just bring your talents to South Beach type stuff.
Right.
and they gave you money. So I was just like, interesting. It really just changed my mindset a bit, because it's like one side you could be like, well, this school expects more of you, all this good stuff. Like, yeah, but I'm like, I don't know, it just felt like something you didn't have to like, people see
force
you,
that,
it was just like, am I trying too hard to be in these other places?
Right.
When at the end of the day, you're gonna learn the same thing at every single place.
Yeah.
It's like accounting is accounting. No matter where you learn it. And so. That was one of the bigger reasons why I chose Morehouse. And then even my actual final decision, I was standing outside waiting for a bus to go home, and it was cold. Cleveland gets cold. Snowstorm, all of it, and I was just like, all right, I'm getting out the cold.
I gotta go.
I was like, yeah, all right, I'm going to Morehouse. And so that was those two reasons combined was just feeling that sense of like, acceptance, it's like, and desire, like, hey, we want you here and everything. And then when I got there, bro, that first week, like bringing you in,
right,
man, it changes your life, bro. I wish every black boy could go through that experience.
Yeah.
Because they like put you through so much of different trials and stuff, but all of it just shows to that, you need to unlearn what you kind of experienced in this world. You are worth it. You don't have to jump through hoops. You got to be good.
Right.
You got to be, have an expectation in a certain level and achieve that. But you ain't gotta tap dance.
Right.
You ain't gotta do all that. Just be you and love yourself for that.
Right.
And it was huge. It was just like, man, that first week was like, man,
life changing.
Yeah, like I'm glad I came here. And it's like, and then diversity of people. It's like, yeah, we all black, and obviously not every single person there is black, but like most of them are black and everything. But it's just like so many people come from so many different walks of lives that like I feel like I don't know your lifestyle. Right. Like I don't know, like some of the stuff I couldn't even relate with some people because I just didn't know. And my roommate, we actually went to the same high school. The building we had, the building we had 3 different schools in it. Okay. He was in one of them. And that's my guy, my brother. But I always say it's just like when we first came there, because again we raised in different circumstances. Yeah. I remember I had a bag. Okay. One bag that had all my stuff in it. Like a little duffel bag. Yeah. All my stuff. And I'm like, all right, going off to Morehouse, and that's cool. Didn't have no sheets for my bed, none of that. It was just me because obviously we couldn't afford all to like go down there and everything. I just had enough to get the ticket to get myself down there and everything. And he comes in, and I love this man for it, but he comes in with his mother, his brother, and 2 dads. His 2. I was like, I don't even know where mine at. He had his father and his mother remarried, and so the Stefan, they have a great like relationship and everything. Yeah. And so I was just like, man, you like stacked. And he has a bunch of suitcases. His one suitcase, bigger than my entire bag, was solely dedicated to shoes. Christ. He's a shoe collector and everything like that, stays on point and all of it. Yeah. And I'm just like, it's just that difference. I was just like, man, we were just walking 2 different lives. Right. It was just like, bro, like you can just tell it's like certain things like that, I experienced that he hasn't and vice versa. Right. But we really became like brothers, man. Right. Like, going through that, living in the same place. I ended up crashing his car one time. I didn't want to take responsibility for it at the time, but I did. That was on me.
Hey man, that's all good. Yeah, that's all good. You honest enough to talk about it now.
Yeah, I'm not. He keep asking me for that damn car. He was like, "You gonna give me a car, to replace it?" I was just like, when I get to that level.
Yeah, right.
I think I'm approaching it pretty soon. So
Amen.
He might get a car out of me.
Amen, man. I pray he does. I pray he does. But shout out to the HBCUs out there, because that's definitely an incredible story that molds and shapes who you are as an individual today, right? So let's keep going down the timeline, right? So we finish at Morehouse and we end up back in Cleveland, and we're at Cleveland State University, right? To get your master's degree in accounting?
Yep.
Tell me about that, how that helped shape your professional career now as a CPA.
Man, I didn't want to go back to Cleveland, honestly. I went back because when you in-state, Cleveland State gives you it's cheaper to do your master's program.
Okay.
But I was like, damn, I didn't want to go back to Cleveland. I love Cleveland. Cleveland made me who I am today.
Yes.
I will never take that away.
Yes.
I'm from the land. It's in me, and I fully intend to really go back and help it up. But I was like, I didn't want to go back.
Yeah.
But I went back, and during that time, that was really me. I mean, going to Morehouse was cool, but I was on the campus, and so it's still a kind of an assisted type of living. Even I had roommates and stuff like that. When I did the Cleveland State, that was the first time I was had a place to myself, and so I had my own apartment. I was working, had college. I was just going around doing stuff, and I think that going back to Cleveland and that mindset and just having that that thought, it really just helped me mature of where I wanted my life to go. And obviously I needed to do the master's program in order to, get my CPA license. And so it was all, for that. But I think, kind of going back to Cleveland during that time as a different man with that, additional, experience and stuff, it was interesting, and you can definitely feel the difference between HBCU and a PWI. So it's totally different.
Absolutely. Different. But I think that's definitely something that you can say, molded you and shaped you for your preparation to, the next level, right? A first career start off, right?
So, of course, I think Morehouse did a great job of that as well, too. I mean, honestly, probably more than Cleveland State did, because we had specific classes dedicated to how to be a leader, how to handle yourself in the corporate space and everything like that, and that was part of the curriculum, you had to take. And so they did it, and even teaching you how to wear suits, and so it was just a lot of stuff that I didn't know, that even walk, don't walk around with your hands in your pocket. I'm like, I don't think about that stuff. You present yourself right. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. I didn't know. I didn't even think about it. And so they put a lot of stuff in me. So I would say a lot of it definitely came, from my preparedness and everything, definitely came from Morehouse. I think Cleveland State was more of a kind of applying what I learned into in that situation, and truly coming into true independence, not living with other people. Because again, up until that point, again, I've been sharing everything with my family. We've been in the same rooms, and I had my own room towards the end of it. But even then, my little brother and sister was always in my room playing a game or doing stuff. So it was just I had never really truly had my own spot, and that was the first time. So I think at that point in my life, that was the most important thing, was understanding and accepting and living in that independence. And I was studying for the CPA exam too while doing the college. So it was just a lot of stuff, but it was really that that time of coming in there. That's what I would say. It really helped more so mold my personal independent life than anything as far as the more professional. It helped with obviously with some stuff, but I think Morehouse actually helped way more professionally than Cleveland State did. Yeah.
So you mentioned corporate. Let's take a step and talk about more so your professional career.
Yeah.
Like I said, we did some research on you, right? Okay. Deloitte.
That's what it's called.
That's what it's called. Yeah. Tell me some lessons you learned from your HBCU and how that brought you into Deloitte, and some of the lessons you learned at Deloitte as well.
I think the biggest thing that Morehouse prepared me for was they made sure that we as a black people saw ourselves in the mirror the way we, as powerful and strong as we are, and be okay with other people not necessarily seeing that. And I think that helped a lot. But also one thing that the Morehouse did do a lot was technically kind of like try to give you the playbook on how to survive in that world. But by surviving, it was more so kind of assimilating, right? Because that's how you had to do it. You gotta have to, make it work, fit in, do what you gotta do. Right. But then when you outside, you can do what you want to do. But you just gotta get in the door. Right, everybody always says you gotta get in there, you gotta get to the table and everything. Right. But one thing that really, when doing Morehouse and being Deloitte, just realized I'm like, look, yeah, sure, you get to the table, but like. Ain't enough of us at this table now. Like it's still while we still everybody's trying to get to the table. When is the mission to now do something while you at the table? There you go. And stop kind of giving that messaging that you gotta kind of assimilate. Right. And you have to do this and you have to do that. And I think that what Deloitte really did was just show me that I didn't want to do what they had planned. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of they have a very structured things. Like you come in, you're like specifically in audit, you're an assistant, audit assistant. Then you're a second year, and then you are a senior, and then you're second year senior, and then you're a manager. And it was just like, for me, I see a path. And then I map it out like, okay, I can do this. I can skip this. I don't need that. Yeah, I got that now. Right, I can do this now. Or I can do this. And they didn't really care to match how fast I kind of was going. Right. And so it's just like, y'all keep trying to keep me in this box. Yeah. And tell me what to do. Like, it was one time when I was trying to get to, because I wanted to get to the entertainment space. And I was in Florida at the time. And obviously not too much entertainment related stuff is in Florida. So I was just like, well, let me get to like New York, media's over there, or at least Los Angeles. Right. And I was tossing up both of the places. But the partner on the engagement I was on, he was pulling some strings, helping me get to where I needed to get to. And he was like, pull me to the side, like, all right, I got you, with over in the New York office, which I appreciated. Nice. But he told me, all right, Kendale. He was like, all right, when you get there, you got to understand it's a different culture. It's white man, different culture. And he was like, so the first thing you got to really understand is you have to pronounce the word meeting. Oh, no. You got to say it like meeting, not meeting. No, brother. I look like nigga. What? Bro, I am at, so the way that the Deloitte at the time, ranked people, right, was they ranked them based off of this, they call it a scatter plot. Okay. So like each person is like on a dot on a graph, and like the higher up and right you are, the better you are. Yeah, right. On these different factors. I'm at the top. I'm at the top of this damn scatter plot, and the only thing you got to tell me is meeting. I was like, out of all this stuff, I think that just helped me resonate in my mind of like, this is somebody else's game. Right. And I can either keep playing by their rules and, or I can choose a different game, choose a different path. Because it gets to a point where, again, to the whole get in and get to the table, get in the room first type thing, it's like, I want to create my own room. Right. I kind of want to get my own table. Right. And like, I don't need to change what y'all got going on. That's cool. Y'all good. I ain't mad at y'all. Y'all did that. Y'all did that work. And it really opened my mind of wanting to do that for myself and like create opportunities and a community where a space where people who thought like me could like really see it, and like they could see me doing what I did, and like, it's other pathways. It's specifically like in accounting, because a lot of people just think accounting is just audit, tax, and boring and stuff. Right. And it's just like, bro, look at me right now. I am dressed because I'm like coming from a convention, where we do anime, gaming, entertainment. Right. And yeah, I do accounting, but I also do the sponsorships, and I'm making money. I'm talking to the talent, dapping everybody up, because we all know each other. We all cool and everything. And so it's just really what you make it. And if I would have went the pathway that they would have did, I wouldn't be here at all. I'd be a pretty successful accountant. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I'm a successful accountant now, but I would be a pretty successful accountant in their company. But you know, I know I wouldn't be fulfilled. And for me, after making that move, it was all about making sure I was fulfilled in what I was doing. Right.
Man, I champion you for that, because I know a lot of us would have looked at that situation and conformed, right? And been like, yeah, okay, meeting.
And part of me was just like, man. So at first I was like, damn, okay, if this is the only thing he said, then maybe I'm doing a good job.
I'm doing a good job. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm in a good position.
But then I was just like, that was like, I think I kind of knew. It was like, I was very cocky back then. I ain't gonna even cap on you. I can say that with grace now and maturity.
I'm alert, man.
Yeah, I can definitely say that. And that was like years ago. And so it's not much you could have told me back then. Right. But I know I still had some stuff to learn. I 100% knew that. And out of all that, the whole time that you could do this space you can give, you want to tell me just to pronounce a word meeting when people have all different types of accents and you know, things like I'm not using the word incorrectly. Right, exactly. You know, I'm just, you know, I have a different accent, you know, and a different accenture to what I'm saying and everything. So it's just like, you know, it's potato, right, exactly. You know, and so it's just like out of all the things, I was just like, I'm always gonna be looked at like that, you know, and that's kind of the big thing. So it was just like, yeah, I can say meeting, you know, I can say that, I can stress that, but I'm like, why?
Exactly.
You know, why does that matter? You know what I'm saying, right?
Exactly.
You know, I don't sound illiterate.
Is that going to affect my workload?
Yeah, don't affect the work I'm doing. Right. And so, yeah, this really kind of changed my mindset of kind of what I was, you know, kind of my trajectory.
That is, man, that is crazy. Yeah. You talked about earlier the entertainment sector, right? So let's talk a little bit about Netflix and ITV. Yeah. How did that help you shape your knowledge of the entertainment industry that you have now?
Man, honestly, it was huge because at the time, you know, before I went there, I knew of it, and I knew accounting 100% backwards and forwards, but just, you know, it's different pathways in entertainment, you know, and specific instances and like cases that you can have there. And so for me, it was like, oh, like this is the world, you know, this is what's going on. Like production accounting is different than corporate accounting, and this is what it takes to create a show. And, you know, from understanding and being in those conversations and behind the industry, understanding how the industry works, and, you know, how, you know, just how to, like, even on my ride in today, I was in, you know, the car with a couple of our talent for DreamCon. You know, one is a director on the X-Men show. Dope. And another is a voice actor for GTA, and they were just talking about like, studios and working. They knew people in common and stuff like that. And they were talking about the studios, and I was like, I can contribute to this conversation because of my history of understanding, you know, where the streaming, you know, world is right now. Like I seen back then, because then I'll tell you this. I was at when I was at Netflix. This is before they were doing ads. And I remember we were this is in a session where, like, this is when Disney Plus just started, you know, kind of coming, like the loomingness of the streaming wars were happening. And we was in like this staff like meeting and stuff. They were just like, okay, what can Netflix do to be better and everything? And I was just like, well, number one, I think y'all should focus on short form content, you know, because at the time, like, that's where the people are going, you know, that's where, you know, again, I'm the proof of that right now. At the one of the biggest conventions in the world, like powered by people who create short form content. And I told them, like, they really need to attack, you know, that market and, you know, be a part of it. And then the other thing was, I was like, y'all need to do ads. I'm like, you ain't got to do it in between the show. Yeah. But you can do it at the beginning, you know, at the end, you know, same thing like Hulu does, you know, it's not the innovative, you know, it's just like, but it's something you should do. But they were like, oh, Netflix will never do ads. We ain't doing ads. And I was like, okay. It was almost, they don't, and tell you, when they said that, I was just like, damn, I'm about to get fired for saying that shit. Like, I was like, yo, like, they had a thing, like, we'll never do ads. Yeah. And
Lo and behold.
Yeah, lo and behold.
Yeah.
I was like, look at y'all now.
I definitely pay for that non-ad Netflix now.
Exactly. And like the people who are doing it for free, and obviously, you know, people who are like password sharing and stuff like that. I'm like, look, just charge it. You know, get some extra money on the back end. Anybody care? They gonna stop? No,
right.
They ain't gonna stop.
They gonna figure out another way to do that.
They gonna figure out how to do it. Yeah. You know, and they'll pay for that. I'll pay extra. Right. I don't want to see no ads.
Not at all.
And so I think what Netflix did, I wasn't there too long. Because while Netflix was, you know, great in introducing me, well, technically I had worked at Fox for a little bit, you know, on a contract, but Netflix did introduce me to that entertainment space and stuff. But even they were kind of corporate-y, definitely in the sense of like, all right, and then at this time it's pre-pandemic,
right?
Like, all right, here's what you do, and you go here and you go there. And it was just really like, you know, I come from leaving Deloitte into doing contract work where for 3 months I'm working on one client and next 3 months I'm working on something else. And so it's like I'm always moving and learning something new and like tackling a different problem.
Right.
And then when I went into Netflix, it was like, all right, you learn how to do this. Now this is your job every month. And it was just like, it's kind of boring. And so honestly, I felt it, they felt it, and we was just like, all right, this ain't working out for us.
Right.
Still we cool, but it was just like, all right, yeah, you know, this ain't what, you know, your passion is. And so I went to ITV afterwards because they were a smaller company still figuring themselves out. Right. And I basically, you know, created, you know, their accounting function from jump, from the base up, because they were a new company just coming out. And so like I took what I learned from Netflix and all the other places I learned and, you know, really applied it, created systems and and processes in place to really build up, you know, ITV's scripted department. So this is the U.S. scripted department. Yeah. Because ITV is a global company, so not the UK one, but they had a scripted department here, not here, but in Los Angeles.
Right. So what encouraged you to want to do your own accounting firm?
So after building out ITV and getting to a point, I basically told him, I was just like, all right, I'm kind of getting to that point where, you know,
I need something new.
I need something else. Right. Like I kind of got this to a nice little spot, can hand this off. I had identified other problems that existed in the company. I'm just like, we could do better at this. We can do better here, and I can do this. And I basically created a new position for myself. I was like, look, all y'all gotta do is just let me go. Let me make it happen.
Let me work, yeah.
And they was like, and I really focused on it. You know, again, I get it, different priorities. You know, you want to focus on revenue generating activities. I get it. It was cool. I was like, but this is gonna be a thing. But again, I got to that point where it's like, I'm itching to kind of do something else. And then that was also around the time crypto was being like very wildly like used and everything. And crypto interested me since back in 2014 when I was at Morehouse. I had got my first like 0.01 cent of Bitcoin back then. Forgot about it in 2017, 18. It like jumped up at like $280. I was like, bro, I had so much. I was like, I had thousands of dollars, you know, throughout my like year at that point, you know, like where I could have just put some money in there, and I would have been a freaking billionaire. And I was just like, I told myself never again. I told myself I'm not going to be on the back end of stuff. I'm going to be on the forefront. And so that meant the forefront of accounting within the crypto space and digital asset space. And so for me, I hit that focal point where, especially during the pandemic too, where it's like, I don't have to drive to your office and work there and then drive back. Right. It was like, I worked at ITV for about 2 years, you know, remote. And I was able to even do some more stuff. You get some more time back in your day. And I was just like, I knew I always wanted to do, you know, like my own accounting. I want to run my own firm and everything like that. Like not firm, but run my own company. Because my ideal is to get, you know, have my own entertainment production company. But but the idea came a while ago. But then when I had met my wife, then you know, my girlfriend at that time, but I was talking to her. I'm like, oh, we want to do this accounting stuff and everything like that. And it had got to a point where she had a friend who was doing a tax, you know, company as well. And he had asked her, like, do you want to like partner? And I was just like, man, this is like, you know, let's make this happen. And so that's when me and her first did Account by K&J, which is a company where we help focus on small businesses.
Okay.
But I knew I wanted to grow beyond that.
Right.
And instead of just doing the regular bookkeeping, accounting stuff, but also helping, like companies strategize and like become a profit center for a company. So instead of just doing the books and it's like, all right, yep, this is this, fine, boom. But also like reading those numbers and let's do something with it. Let's make decisions off of this. Let's, reduce expenses. Let's make more money. And so from there, not being able to kind of do what I wanted to improve ITV, and having that itch to you really, do more and this other stuff, that's kind of what really pushed me to do my own firm and where I focus on the entertainment and crypto spaces.
So you talked about moving some numbers, identifying the numbers, and helping the business as an overall.
Yeah.
What kind of creative solutions have you kind of implemented in your own personal practice to kind of help businesses thrive?
I think that obviously tax planning is a huge thing, right? So a lot of people, most highest expense is tax, right? Especially when you get to that level of success. But I think outside of tax planning, I'm very good at finding ways to make money out of like just understanding what your current process is, and then like, oh well, you can make some money doing this, so like that tangential stuff, right. So even taking I had a chef at one point. He was about to lose his client. He had a basketball client. He was about to lose him for the summer because he was going to camps and stuff.
Makes sense.
And so he was like, yeah, it's got to find some like other way to do this. And I was like, why not create him a lunchbox? You can't. You might not have him for a customer. That's cool. Create him a lunchbox. Make it look cool. Have your branding on it, everything like that. Send it to him. While he's at the practice. And better yet, if you have enough resources, send it for the full team. And just kind of put it on your minds, like, here y'all go type thing. They see it, they'll be like, oh, where you get that from? Right, kind of get the conversation going. And so
so-and-so order this tomorrow for us.
Yeah. And so he was just like, okay, he did it. And tell me why this man went from about to lose a client to gaining the whole team. Like literally the team itself, like, hired him, to do the food and stuff.
That's the way.
And he's supposed to give me some credit on it.
I ain't seen that yet.
He was like, thanks, but now I'm gonna do this. I was like, that's crazy. But I love helping people, do that. And so basically that's what I do. I like help them identify ways to create, and more ways to make money. And so they call me the money man, because that's kind of what I do. Brand. Yeah, just really, it's just like beyond just doing the accounting, also finding ways to, increase revenue, decrease expenses. And so it's just create to your question, being creative in ways that, just sees different paths, than what you probably were thinking or accustomed to. That's kind of my biggest thing. It's just like, all right, there's more than one way. They say it's more than one way to skin a cat, but I try to not, try to be cool, Peter, and say like, it's more than one way to, to peel an onion or something
Okay. Yeah. I like it. That's a different perspective. But I think there's also, there's a slew of, when it comes to social media aspect, right? Especially when it comes to tax season, people saying like this, you could do this tax experience or this tax break. And I think you got to be careful with some of those things.
Facts.
But I think given a different perspective and a different idea to help people grow their business on the back end of saying, hey, look, all right, I'm gonna take care of your taxes, but there's another hidden gem right here that we need to talk about.
My biggest thing is that it's like I actually don't even care to do taxes, honestly, just to be real.
Wow.
It's just like, I want to help plan for them. I help you plan for them, but like actually doing them, sure. Now you get somebody else to do that. But my biggest thing, to your point, is taxes. If you are getting taxed, that means you're making money,
right?
So like, And as you know, Drake once said, as long as the outcome is income, you know, it's like that's really, that's really the thing at the end of the day. Yeah. And so obviously reducing that tax is important, but a lot of times, a lot of stuff on, you know, Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter, has always been about ways, like this how you can escape tax and do this and do that. And I'm like, y'all ain't making no money. Like, what are you?
So let's make the income first.
Let's make money first. Like, why y'all so focused on like these ain't for you?
Yeah, right.
You know, it's like, and this is how the wealthy do it. Yeah. You're not the wealthy. Like, let's just be real.
You'll get there.
Not yet. Yeah. Let's focus on stuff on how to get you to the wealthy.
Right.
You know, and then we can do the tax planning, or we can do it at the same time, depending on who you're working with. And so I think that's the big piece for a lot of people, is even like, here's how you can get your first loan, you know, to fund your business. And I'm like, honestly, if you ain't got a plan for that, you shouldn't be getting no loans. You shouldn't just be getting $50,000 because you can. You know. Do
you find that to be a struggle sometimes when getting brand new clients? Like some of their either maybe some of their finances are all over the place, or just getting them to reel this in and understanding like, hey, look, we can do this, we can get here, but we got to do these steps. Do you find that to be a struggle at times?
It really is the thing, especially when I was at a low dollar, high quantity type of thing. It's just like it's like the low dollar, high quantity are the most like, you know, they ask for a lot. You know, like it's just like, man, bro, you paying me $2 and you want me to freaking do your whole family's taxes.
No.
And plan out your future for your kids. Like, come on now. Like, let's just be real. And so usually a lot of them are the ones who are kind of like, they see all this stuff, right? And they have good intentions and everything,
of course,
but they just get overwhelmed and it's like, you don't need that right now. This is what you need. And some people listen, some people don't, you know, and so it is what it, you know, I can't save everybody.
Right.
So, and again, I might not be that person for you.
Right.
And that took me a while too to learn. It's just that, you know, I stopped going for the high quantity, you know, and just I raised the price. You know, it's just like, all right, what I'm giving is value. And honestly, what I'm doing only works with the person who has a mindset that wants to listen. And so, because I can give you all the tools, I can give you all the stuff, and all the stuff is just like, but if you ain't gonna do it, you know, I'm just wasting my breath.
That's definitely,
you know, and I just don't want to take your money just for the sake of taking it. You know, I want to provide value at the end of the day. It's like thank God I'm not stressing, you know, for that. And so I want to make, you know, like value. You know, I want to be valuable. You know, at the end of the day. And usually it's clients who just pay more, you know, because they understand the value of having a good accountant and having a good financial advisor. Usually is the case. But yeah, definitely most of the times the people who are coming with, you know, smaller payments, you know, have like crazy thing. They got like 20 different bank accounts. I got a bank account for this, a bank account for that. This is like, and then but still use their personal for stuff. It's like, come on.
Right. It's like, we got to get it together. We got to lock it. We got to reel this in.
20 different credit cards. And it's just like, you know, you got to like track all of that. You know, it's just like, so.
No, I get it. I definitely get it because trying to do some personal things in my own life, right, and just getting my finances under wraps and trying to just understand how.
Did I shoot at you, man?
No. I'm good. I'm super good. I promise. If it was like maybe 7 years ago, I'd be like, oh man, I feel away. No. Right now, I'm super straight. But with that being said, I think that's very, very important and imperative in order to get to that next level, right? Get to that next step, to have that feeling or sense of, oh, okay, I feel comfortable in my dynamic of, okay, I spend this much, I'm saving this much, I'm letting this much money work for me and for, you know, build for my future and things of that nature. I think that's a challenging aspect that a lot of people have struggled with every day in and day out. What I wanted to do is kind of shift gears though and kind of talk about, you know, the elephant in the room, as we can say, right? DreamCon.
Oh, yeah.
How did you get involved there? And tell us a little bit about your experience thus far and where you want to take it.
Yeah. So I originally, I watched RDC and Vader and And you know, a lot of Batch and everybody, when they were on Vine and YouTube and stuff like that,
hilarious.
And they were funny, hilarious, and it was just for me, just on the business side. I'm always thinking about the business side of stuff. I was just like, man, I'm just so happy and so proud, like that they're able to like really come up and everything. And so when I saw that RDC had the idea to do the convention, I was like, genius. Like that would have been one of the things I would have told them to do. Yeah. So like if I was like them, I would be like, all right, y'all got to figure out a way to like diversify y'all stuff, because at any point in time, YouTube can shut off. Right. Instagram can shut off, and then you chalked. Right. At the end of the day, because you don't own your audience. Right. And so what I always try to tell creators and anybody is just always make sure that you have different lines of revenue and you control your audience. You own your audience. And so when I saw it, like, and I had never been to a convention before, but I was like, oh, I wanted to go to one. And I was like, well, this one for sure. And so when I had the chance, I was like, yeah, please. I bought a VIP ticket. So I bought the VIP ticket in like 2020 or 2019 for 2020. But then, COVID happened, so they had to skip. So I went for 2021. Yeah. Had a great time, had a great experience. I was like, this is beautiful. I did notice, I'm like, you probably could have did this, or you probably could have did that here. It was funny too, because even when I was there, I went with my friend Carlos, and I was just like standing somewhere at the door, and people asked me a question. I was like, I can tell, here it is, but I don't work here. And he was just like, man, even now, the people just be thinking like, you just, can help them or something. I was like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, you just stand with some dominance or something. I was like, I have no idea.
I got nothing for you.
I ain't got nothing for you. I don't know. But it was funny. There's a good foreshadow. Right. That I didn't think about at the time. Right. But yeah, had a great experience. I was like, I'm definitely coming back, if nothing more to just patronize, this business, because I want to support them. Yeah. But I wanted to come back with no less than VIP experience. Right. Because I had done that, so I can't. Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so the badges went on sale, and it's gone. Yeah. Gone. And I'm not fast finger, fast finger Frank. I ain't that guy. Yeah. And so I was like, got you. Fuck. I was like, golly. And so I just bought some regular tickets. I was like, I don't know how, but I'm like, I'm coming back. I'm going back. I'm going to have some type of VIP experience. I got to. It's like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And not too long after, they put out like, that they wanted some staff. I was like,
this might be dope.
That might be cool. Let me see. I went in, they were looking for people and everything like that, but they were not looking for an accountant. They were not looking for anything like that. So I was like, damn. Well, I mean, let me just see. So I was like, I was like, operations, legit. I was like, all right. And I just wrote in. I was just like, y'all ain't really asking for this, but, I'm a CPA and I see what y'all doing. I want to support and all that good stuff. And John hit me up. It was just like, actually, we do need somebody like that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we chopped it up, talked about it. And at first, I thought I was just coming on to do the accounting. Right. I wasn't even trying to be anything extra or anything like that. I was just like, let me do the accounting and everything. But it quickly went to handling sponsorships. So, and at that time, technically, I had never really done that before. Like, I've negotiated with people and read contracts and stuff as part of my job, but like not something like that I was like solely responsible for, if that makes sense. And so, kind of coming in, it was just like, I kind of know what needs to be done. Like the deck that they had at the time was like, well, we need to change this up. You need to add this in here. You need to pull this in. You need to grab that. You need to we need to just rehash this whole thing. Yeah. And we need to add it. And so it was just like, rehashing that, and then, connecting with the sponsors and talking to companies and just like doing it. Because again, I'm comfortable doing that, because as an auditor, I'm coming as a first year out of, college, talking to CEOs and stuff, asking them for their, for support, and for their stuff. So it's just, I'm comfortable talking with people. I know corporate. And that was the big thing too, is that a lot of the people on the DreamCon team were, they were professionals in their right, but not necessarily corporate. Right. And so, when talking to certain companies, you need to have a little bit of understanding of that corporate stuff.
Correct.
And I was like a really good balance, because I can go corporate, but I also know how to talk to y'all.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, and so it was just like, I was a good
There's
blend.
only a select few people who understand what he just said. Continue.
Look. And so I could do both, and I could do it in a genuine way where I don't have to say, hello, right. I can speak as plainly as this and be elaborate and get the message across, and still be respected and how it is, but also again I understand both things, and so I was a really good space person for that, and started at the time when I was an attendee, I think there were like 2,000, 3,000 people. That next year when I was, it was the first year as the, head of partnerships and everything, sponsorships at the time. We went to like 5,000 people, and then we jumped to 20,000 tickets. So, and now we're again 20,000 plus again. And so I like to say I was a big part of, kind of getting them, there, and just kind of handling, like figuring out the budgets, figuring out, bringing in the sponsorship dollars to help fund it, and it was a blast. Honestly, it is a blast to say. It's stressful. I ain't gonna lie. This particular year, I also added on handling like the talent, piece as well. So I did the sponsorships, handling the finances. Also now doing the talent, and then I'm also a part of just overall executive decisions and some of the creative decisions. So like the film festival we're doing this year, the career fair that we're doing this year, those are the things that I was kind of pushed forward. And so honestly, I was stretched very thin. Pause. No diddy. I was, very, a lot of time was taken. And I had also, my wife got pregnant last year. And that was kind of before, I didn't really truly comprehend how much time this was going to take and everything like that. And so this year has honestly been very, very stressful.
Man, prayers up to you, brother. Prayers up to you. So it seems like to me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. It seems like to me you're very big on process improvement and very big on expansion. So whenever you put your hands on something, you want to see it grow, cultivate, flourish. So tell me, what does DreamCon look like 5 years from now?
I say this all the time, when I talk to sponsors, when I talk to new people coming in, is that DreamCon should be the black mecca of entertainment. It's just like I always say, like when Black Panther was coming out, they would debut it at DreamCon. Like that's the goal. Right now, it started off as an anime and gaming convention, and so when people are thinking about it, a lot of focus just goes to that, and so they try to box it in. Where I see in DreamCon, just again, and this is more towards the idea of what DreamCon was, just from understanding what Mark wanted to do with it, is that this is supposed to be for, a dream, anybody's dream, you can cultivate that here. And so, bringing in the film festival, cultivating directors and actors, their dream of doing that, bringing in the career fair and cultivating people's dreams of working in the industry, like that type of stuff. And so in 5 years, that stuff is commonplace. In 5 years, we are a known location community, where dreamers come to be equipped with what they need, and we do it year round. We do obviously a good solid, huge hooray every year, sure, but like we also are a part of y'all's lives year round, and adding value to it. And where now, and people start, people use Comic-Con very interchangeably. Oh, this is a Comic-Con, I'm gonna go to this Comic-Con, right. But it's just when Comic-Con is technically a the San Diego Comic-Con, right? And so like ideally, you switch that out. Oh, a DreamCon. Oh, I'm like, oh yeah, you talking about that DreamCon? Oh, you got to go to San Diego DreamCon? So like basically making it more synonymous with, with people's mindsets and entertainment and helping them, grow and everything. That's really what you're really getting it to, and impacting people, more than just on the entertainment side, like really letting them go home with more than just I had fun, but oh man, I was able to connect. You know, I was able to make friends. My sister came last year and just like, oh, I made so many friends from this, you know, and people who like, oh, I got a job from this, or I got my next contract, you know, my next, you know, thing. I was able to connect. So it's like, that's really the goal, is to create that mecca for, you know, people to come feel, you know, safe and grow and, you know, just, you know, build.
Cultivating a space for dreamers to change the world.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that about you. So I mean, hey, look, we went from Morehouse, we went from Cleveland State, we went from Deloitte, we went from Netflix, ITV. You have done so much as an accountant.
Yes.
What would you tell a younger self? Give me some gems of knowledge, a wealth of information. What would you tell your younger self? Hey, growing up, you know, I'm just getting out, fresh out of Cleveland. I don't know what to do, but I'm coming to you. I see you do it. Give me the game. What would you tell?
Just being real, younger Dale. You couldn't tell him much. I told you.
Yeah,
he had a plan. Yeah. He was like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
You know,
no, thank you, sir.
So I ain't gonna lie. You probably couldn't tell me much. Unless you showed me some value.
Right.
So, but I would say something that somebody told me back in the day that I didn't really pay attention to was enjoy the journey. You know, it's just, I was very destination focused. I'm like, I got to get to this, you know, this is my plan, get here, achieve it, boom. But you really want to make sure you take the time to enjoy the process, because once you get to that, for me, I got to that destination, I'm just like, all right, well, what next? You know? And so I kind of had to like, all right, what am I doing? What's going on? And so I think a big thing is enjoy the journey, because you know, those moments matter, you know, and stay connected. You know, I'm a very ambitious person, and it's so ambitious that it's sometimes hard to like balance with, you know, my desire of, you know, family, you know, and connection and being present. Like I have a hard time being present sometimes, because for me, I'm always thinking, I'm thinking 20 steps ahead, like literally just how it is. And I tell my wife, I'm like, that's just how I had to grow up. Like you have to, cause I ain't the best fighter, you know, I ain't the strongest. Like I ain't the strongest, I ain't the fastest, I ain't the blackest, you know, but you know, for me, I wasn't even the smartest, but I had enough of all of that. That my strategy had to be, I was probably the most strategic, you know, with a lot of the stuff that I did. And so that's how I survived. It's just like, I have to think 5-10 steps ahead, you know, so I play chess, you know, I had to think 5-10 steps ahead in order to, you know, survive, you know, in some cases. And so that, you know, that don't just go away, you know? And so it's hard sometimes to be in the moment and be present for certain things when you're really thinking about like how to make sure that you're covered, you know, what's going on. Oh, I see this. I see it right now. I can tell you, I have a plan, you know, even when I started DreamCon, it's like, where we are now, it's not a surprise to me because I had already conceived this, you know, back then, you know? And so like, even when you ask me the 5-year question, I'm like, I see it already. It's just getting there is the thing, you know? And so
you working on 10-year.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm thinking like how to transcend that, you know? And that's what you have to do. You have to be, you know, and I think, who said that? CEO of Amazon, what's that man's name?
Oh, Bezos?
Yeah, Bezos. He said something where it's just like he needs people who are thinking 3 years ahead. It's like, I don't care about what happened last quarter. You know, I'm you know, I when I was thinking about last quarter, it was 3 years ago. You know, type thing, like, or a year ago.
We're too late.
Know, like we can't do nothing about that. We need to, what can we do in the future? And like that's me. It's just like, even as an accountant, that's why I don't really care to do taxes, because at that point, like, that's done. You know, can't do nothing. So let's plan. Like, I'll help with the planning. I'll help with the forecasting. Let's figure out what we're gonna do. And then, you know, obviously we'll get what we need, the compliance stuff. We'll get that done. But like, so that is a big thing for me, is kind of using that strategy, you know, going forward. And that's just how I kind of like lived and survived. So yeah.
So what motivates you to serve as the president of the LA chapter of NABA?
For me, I have a huge innate desire to educate Black folk about money. Coming from where I came from, I don't want the certain, people in the same circumstances.
I get you, yeah.
And so I'm like, how can I contribute? And so that's how I can contribute. And so, taking up that board seat, doing that leadership, and I have great ideas on like how to bring us to the future, because a lot of these organizations are run by people who were older, and again they had a different time, and that they ran these organizations for the time that it made sense. But now we need new blood, new people to change up how we're doing certain things to match the current and the future of what we're trying to do. There's a huge problem right now in the accounting space of just like retaining accountants or introducing and enticing new people to be accountants. Nobody wants to do it because they feel like it's boring. They don't make that much money. Sure, you get a job and everything like that, but it's just like
be doing taxes.
Exactly. It's just like, it's all I'm gonna do. This is nothing. It's like they rather I want to be a content creator. I want to be a doctor. I want to be something like all that stuff. And it's just because the marketing is just different, for accounting versus those other ones. And so for me, I think I put a responsibility on myself to really be a voice and a face for the accounting. Like when you think of accounting, who's the first person you think of?
So there's one CPA accountant that I think about is.
You see he talking. See he talking his way trying to get some more time.
No, his name is Edward. His name is Edward on Netflix. So he says it's like, this is Edward verified.
Oh yeah. I know you're talking about.
So that's one of the accountants.
I think he's a CPA.
Yeah, he's a CPA. But
I love it. I love his content.
Yeah, he either validates or invalidates what if somebody, this is a hack you can do online, and I'm like, that's probably one of the accountants I don't.
He's actually really good. I like his videos.
Yeah.
But he's white.
He's white. Right. The only other one I can think about is my sister's husband.
Okay.
And he's a CPA. But he definitely helps me every single time. I'm like, yo, I told him last year, like, yo, this is the plan. Want to get to this number. He was like, yo, you gotta do this, carry to zero, and then we might be off to the races. But you gotta wait. You gotta follow the rules. You gotta follow that path. And thank God, we've been following the game plan, and it's been working. Yeah. So yeah.
And I love what Edward. I forget his last name, but what he does, and again, I love his content. And I think I agree with him more times than not. Obviously some people have different, threshold risk tolerance, stuff like that. But yeah, most of his stuff is like A1. And I don't say the comment of just about kind of mentioning his race to be like decisive or anything not at all. Him.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm more so kind of getting to is that. When we talk about national accounting, National Association for Black Accountants, right? You that need to be able to see yourself in order to believe that you can do it,
Absolutely.
right? And so just like we got Bill Nye the Science Guy, you got Neil deGrasse Tyson, and so it's like you have the ability to see, this exists, and everything.
Right.
And I think that with accounting, you don't really see that, or finance, or if you do. Or people talking about finance or tax is about like getting rich quick, or like how to get this next bag, how to get a PPP, stuff like that. It's just like,
yikes. And
that's cool, and that has its time if you're doing it right. But it's just like, creating content for people to like, and somebody to look up to outside of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you talk about creating content. I know you have your own personal podcast, Cap Culture. What do you hope to generate or cultivate with your podcast and presentation of social media? So
the podcast is Hollywood Accounting.
Okay.
Capital Culture is more of a media, outlet. Yeah. And so what Capital Culture intends to do is really cultivate a space, kind of like what I was mentioning, where finances is something that is easily talked about and felt, and so it's like it tries to it achieves being the intersection between accounting, finance, entertainment, tech, stuff like that. And so the goal is, anyone with Hollywood Accounting, is to make the topic interesting to people, connecting with people on levels that that they're at, and going from there instead of just trying to force the FASB code down their throat. Just like, all right, you don't need to do all that. It's just like, all right, accounting and finance can be fun because I say this all the time, every business, everybody in the world, every person, every business could use an accountant. Yes. Like literally every single person.
Yes.
And so don't limit what that is. And so it's like, let's just start in these places and like pull finance and accounting from these topics that you're already interested in.
Right.
So that's kind of the goal. And again, it's also stuff that I'm interested in. And so I'm just speaking on it and kind of like letting people into my mind when I see certain stuff.
We got a hard-hitting question that just came to mind, and I got to ask it before we transition. This has been a question that I believe a lot of music and artists are going to ask. Hey, how much is a stream worth?
It depends on the platform. So, and I actually did I'm actually preparing a video to talk about this. That's funny. So like most of them do. It's not like an actual, well, you got one stream and this is equal to 1 cent. It's not as static as that.
Right.
What more times than not happens for most platforms is that you have, in this month, there were 1 million streams across all the music that they have on the platform. Your songs were streamed 100,000 times.
Yeah.
So you get 100,000 over the 1 million, and then that is a percentage of the amount that they're paying out.
Right.
And that's what you kind of get to your streaming. I think it works out to be like the percentage, like the cents that you like they see in the advertise.
Yeah.
But it is very much so based on that formula, not a standard 1 cent, per stream or something like that. So it just depends on the thing. You can get more or less on different platforms, based on if they're more or less saturated, right? So less saturated platforms would pay you a higher percentage, because again, it's not too many people fighting for that, for that share,
right?
Versus the other platforms.
That makes perfect sense. Well, that wraps up about our question and answer segment. We'll move on to our this or that segment, rapid fire questionnaire. So either this or that, and give me your justification behind it. You ready, Rock?
Yep.
Let's do it. Books or podcasts?
Podcast. I'm more of a in it sensory person. Reading is cool, but for me, like, I gotta be involved in it somehow. So I would probably listen to the podcast and like maybe play a game. Yeah. And for me, like, that connects more for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Cleveland or LA?
Cleveland.
Come on.
I love Cleveland, and that'll be the answer to everything. Yeah. Obviously, LA is a different, they can't be compared.
Yeah.
But I mean, Cleveland all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Accounting or finance? Accounting? Okay. Yeah. First love. Okay. Yeah. Crypto or traditional investments?
Crypto? Yeah.
In-person events or virtual conferences? Conferences.
In person.
Okay. Monopoly or cash flow?
Cash flow.
Why?
Cash flow. Because Monopoly is very basic. It teaches you the basic, like, real estate stuff. And honestly, it's only one person can win type of situation, which is, sometimes happens in the real world, but I don't think something that we have to promote like necessarily. Again, it's a fun, competitive game. I ain't mad at that.
Right.
But cash flow is also competitive, but it's not necessarily another person has to lose for you to win.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I like that. I like the, I love Monopoly, and I love, beating people. I'm a competitive person.
Right.
But I think, specifically when we learn about finance and everything, I don't know if we should be teaching people that in order for you to win, you got to beat somebody else. Because I don't think that's what you have to do. And so I like cash, and then cash flow is obviously a lot more, advanced, and teaches a lot more things. And
we can all win together.
Yeah, we can all win together. And that's what I'm actually working on a game.
Really?
Where board game and everything to. One to like just teach specific accounting, because Monopoly nor cash flow teaches you accounting. That's just basically mostly real estate. At the end of the day, and investments. But so I'm creating a game that helps you be an accountant. Make those decisions. And then also a game where in order to win, you all got to win.
Nice.
And so it's like helping with group economics and thought like that, you know, because I think that's just the way we should be thinking instead of, we got to eat people to live type thing.
Right. No, for sure. Anime or gaming?
Shoot. Shoot. Gaming.
What game?
Oh, right now I'm playing Spider-Man.
Oh.
I love playing Spider-Man. Like I was a big Xbox person. I had a PS2 first, back in the day.
Way back in the day.
Yeah, way back in the day. So I was a PS Sony person.
Yeah.
But then I caught me an Xbox and I switched over to Xbox. But I was like, I love PS5 and and Sony because PlayStation because they the only ones that got Spider-Man. And so I'm like, my wife actually bought me a PS5. And I was just like, thank you.
Yes.
And I love playing Spider-Man. So that's the game I'm playing now. I just love swinging. And,
that's dope.
And then I also play Smite.
Okay.
Which is a game, strategy-based game, thing. So.
Almost like Civilization, I think.
It's like League of Legends.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think I know the answer. Last but not least, Netflix or HBO Max?
Oh, actually.
Oh, really?
Actually. They bring two different things to the table.
They do, don't they?
They do. And then we actually had a conversation about that at Netflix at that same meeting. Because I'm like, Netflix is like Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It's something for everybody.
Right.
It's like a buffet.
Right.
It's something for everybody.
Yeah, right.
Where HBO Max is like you going to a fine dining establishment.
Right. I know why I'm coming here. I'm coming here for this.
And this alone.
Right.
And so again, Game of Thrones is top 5 ever. Even with the 2 last crappy seasons.
Yeah.
And they have other stuff going on, there too. I'm like currently watching House of Dragons. They're doing a very good job with that.
I keep hearing I need to watch it.
They're doing a great job with that. At first I thought it was gonna be trash, but actually it's very good.
That's what's up.
And again, so I would say, I'll say Netflix.
Okay.
But I just want to say they bring 2 different things.
Support
to the
branch.
they bring 2 different things to the table.
Sure.
But I would say I watch more Netflix. Then I watch more HBO.
Awesome. So last question of the night. You got an opportunity to hang out with the 2 Hour Lunch Break podcast. We appreciate you for coming and pulling up.
Yep.
But we asked everybody this question. Who is a good guest or guest that you feel like would be great to pull up with us? But before you answer, it has to be somebody you can connect us with directly, right? So you can get on your phone and be like, yo, hung out with the 2 Hour Lunch Break. This will be a great opportunity. Who do you think those people or persons would be?
I was again, DreamCon's on my mind. So we got plenty of talent over there.
Yeah.
I know obviously RDC is a big one. I think again, just hearing their story from their different point of view about DreamCon and stuff like that might be pretty cool. I had a lot of conversation with Solo, so he's the voice actor for Franklin.
Right.
He has some very interesting perspectives on life and everything, and so I think he would be a good person to talk to.
That would be dope.
And just kind of like coming from where we come from, and having to thrive in this world and stuff. And so I think he's a really good one. Cleo Thomas is really cool too.
Okay.
He's just great energy.
Nice.
And seeing him from starting in Holes back in the day to now.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm just thinking again, talent's on my mind heavy. And I'm sure I'm getting I'm probably getting blown up right now.
Exactly.
So we shall see what happens. I hope Kiera's over there managing the stuff.
She's.
I'm sure I'm getting blown up.
She's been standing up the whole half the time.
Look, I'm sure I'm getting messages. I'm not getting called. I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'll get to y'all.
Man, I appreciate it.
So I would say all of them. Again, I got way more, but I think that again, just it's good to have like a space where you can just kind of sit down, reminisce, and because even for me, it's like taking this time. This is like one of the first times I've unless I'm chilling with my son or something, but where I'm just sitting down, I'm not thinking about anything else but answering your questions.
We're having these conversations.
And even with the phone ringing and stuff like that, I'm just like,
but it's still important. It's still special, right? The thoughts and the memories and just seeing where you, like you said, where you come from to where you are now. It's always inspiring and inspirational to that aspect. I know we didn't get to cover everything, but let everybody get your social media handles so they know where to find you and can connect with you.
All right, so on Instagram, I am Real, REAL, Kendale, KENDALE, King. So Real Kendale King. I got joked on. It's like, who's the fake one? Who's gonna be? Like, look, you be surprised. I actually, gotten, copied and everything, especially in, people trying to, give financial advice on my behalf. So, real Kendale King on Instagram, X, Twitter, find me on LinkedIn. That's a big place where I'm at. Definitely trying to grow a lot more on there and be a force there. On YouTube, KCK CPA. And so any of those, hit me up. Y'all got some accounting questions. Y'all want to help, get yourself to the next level. That's me.
That's what's up. And that wraps up another edition of the 2 Hour Lunch Break podcast. Once again, want to give a special shout out to Kendale King for taking the time to kick it with us. Shout out to production behind the boards, Cafe Yodo. And also shout out to our home-based Dawa Studios. Episodes of the 2 Hour Lunch Break podcast are streaming on all platforms. You can catch us on IG at 2HLB Pod and on X at the 2 Hour Lunch. We'll check y'all next time. Peace.
And it's coming home to Texas. It's coming home all the way to Austin, Texas, baby.